Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all having a fabulous day. It's really, really hot here. I've got my pint of iced water instead of a cup of tea today. So, this last week, just so much has happened. It's like having a Gatling gun of information fired, isn't it? Meghan and Harry losing the Spotify deal, the suggestion of the Miss Havisham idea, the idea that Harry would interview the Pope, Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump about their daddy issues. I mean, it's just boom, 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 boom. So there's so much to talk about. And the one story I'm a little bit torn over, is it true or not? I don't know. Half of me thinks, yes, it's possible. Because I've come to realise how utterly self-centred Meghan particularly is, and also Harry. They're very wrapped up in their own lives. But the other half of me, especially about Harry, I'm not sure about this one. But it has come from Valentine Lowe, who's highly credible. I think it was Valentine Lowe. No, that was Catherine. That was the fact that Catherine had said recollections may vary. It unfortunately might set her up as a bit of a target from Sussex fans, but I do admire the woman. If that is accurate and true, I admire her. She's going to make a great queen one day. She's a fabulous Princess of Wales. She's a fabulous Duchess of Cambridge. She's there to help and support the others. She's not one of these people who thinks the whole thing's about her, unlike some people. No, it's the rumour that Harry and Meghan are blaming all their failures on it's just bad luck. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. It was all other things going wrong. That's what's destroyed all their chances. It's not the fact that they don't have any talent, they don't have any good ideas. I haven't seen any good ideas. I went to the trouble of watching that 6-episode, 6-hour bore fest on Netflix about how they escaped the palace and found freedom and all this nonsense. There's nothing talented going on there. There's a lot of hammy stuff going on there. But apparently their financial and commercial deals and their Hollywood careers have failed. This is the rumour from an inside source. Because of things like, naughty Prince Philip getting ill and dying. You ruined the whole Oprah thing. You took the shine off it. I mean, even for them, that sounds incredible. However, as I recall at the time, people like Omid Scobie, I think it was Omid Scobie, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was him who sort of said, oh, the palace are only saying Philip's going to hospital and he's ill to stop them airing the Oprah interview. Wow. I think it was him. There were other supporters. Perhaps a lot of you have got better memories than me and can remember who it was, but I distinctly remember someone. It wasn't like officially Harry and Meghan's camp. Someone at the time said, oh, they're just over-exaggerating how ill the near 100-year-old was at the time, just shy of his birthday, wasn't he? 99, you naughty 99-year-old. Meghan, ruining Meghan and Harry's plans. Then COVID was another thing. Then the naughty late Majesty going and passing away like that and making them look bad. And half of me yet is thinking, I reckon they are so self-involved, so deluded, so nuts. They probably do think like that. And the other half of me is, no, not even Meghan and Harry. Not even Meghan. So I'm really torn over that one. I just find it breathtaking that anybody would find that the death of such elderly people and his grandparents, that there's, that they would even think a thing like that. There's some people, it's always somebody else's fault. I've been talking, this is a bit more of a philosophical video, by the way, today, guys. I was talking to my daughter, chat to her every day on the WhatsApp. She's doing brilliantly. And she was telling me a story she'd seen on TikTok about somebody who's bought apparently a Louis Vuitton handbag that's really little and costs an absolute fortune. And I mean, I get that. It's not my cup of tea. I wouldn't spend tens of thousands on a little handbag you can't even put anything in. But if that's somebody's money, that's their decision. And the TikToker that she saw going on about it had said, that person could have fed a load of homeless and could have done this and could have given the money to me. Now, all my life I've been skint. And Graham and I, for example, we've always had second-hand cars, buy our clothes from the charity shop, make the best of what we've got, make do with what we've got. And when we lived in Brighton, particularly under Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, getting in debt seemed to be positively fashionable. And we had people around us, sort of just friends and colleagues, who would laugh at us, look down their noses at us, because I think he had a battered old van and I had my Lightning McQueen that I bought for 400 quid. And they were like, oh, put it in the bin and get finance. Everybody lives on credit these days. Well, I think, personally, obviously I don't live in the UK anymore. Cost of living crisis, of course, is terrible for a lot of people. But when I hear someone sort of saying, just because people have got money, they should hand it over to poor people, because people who are less fortunate require that money, well, it does make me feel a little bit fed up. I'm not explaining myself very well, which I do sometimes, I know, and then I read the comments and I think, oh dear, I put all that very wrong and no one understood what I was saying. But I know people personally in my own life who are really, really skint now, really skint, and we do help them out once in a while. And I have known people who I'm not in touch with anymore who are the same. However, I know for a fact that without exception, all of the people that we know, because down here there's no social security, there's no safety net, you've got to rely on your mates to help you out. And we do help them out regardless of the fact that without exception, all of the people I've known down here who've been truly, truly on their arse were at one time extremely wealthy or lived it up on credit, or were the type of people who would say, oh, throw it in the bin, get credit, buy a new car, get it on finance. And that is how they have ended up in the dire straits. Now, I'm not saying that's always the case. Some people, you just get dealt a bad hand in life and you just can't dig your way out of that hole. But it irritates me to hear a guy say, someone rich bought a stupid little handbag from Louis Vuitton for a fortune, and they should just hand their money over. How do they know that that person wasn't skint before? Perhaps they've scrimped and saved all their lives. Perhaps they've been like us. They've bought clothes from the charity shop. Perhaps they've driven second-hand cars and they just wanted that silly little handbag. That was their dream. That was their dream. That's their decision. Why is it that the TikToker that made that, I've no idea which TikToker it is, by the way, some of you might know. It's probably one of the top ones because my daughter gets these suggestions. How is it right to say, oh, you're not allowed to spend your money, make your decisions? And the fact that I'm in dire straits, that's somebody else's fault. It's like Harry and Meghan, you'll see. She will be skint one day. She will. And as I've said before, the Daily Mail will get their shopping trolley shot. She'll have aged. Won't give a toss one day. She'll go out to the supermarket. She might have put a bit of weight on. She'll look completely different and they'll get that shot. And she'll be skint. But she was a multi-millionairess. She was married into the British royal family. She had absolutely every advantage and opportunity. And yet it is always somebody else's fault. A naughty, cheeky 99-year-old. How dare he? How dare he go and die on them like that? Talk about bad timing. It's unbelievable that they would say, that even they would say that. I think I find that probably the most shocking thing so far. So I'm hoping that it's an insider who's made it up. I hope it's not one of the newspapers just making it up in order for clicks. If it's true, I find it shocking. So, and yes, I can believe Catherine saying recollections may vary and that it is important for historical reference that the point was made. And I think with those 3 words, it's a very good way of doing it. It's quite diplomatic, actually. Very diplomatic. It's a kind way of saying that's not what happened, and we all know it. We all remember exactly the way it went down. Maybe the rest of the family aren't drug-addled and on hallucinogenics and a load of other stuff. I don't know. Anyway, so I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on all that. And I can't remember all the other things. They blamed a whole list of things. It wasn't just Her Majesty's death. It wasn't just Prince Philip's death. There were a whole list of other things that they just feel they've had a run of bad luck. Now, I used the expression in a video last week, they've had a bit of bad luck lately. And a lot of you did point out it's not bad luck, it's their own bad choices and decisions, and obviously it is. Where I come from, in the south of England, that's a very bitchy thing to say. It's like, oh, bad luck, old bean. Is the last thing you want to hear when you've had bad luck is somebody come up to you and go, oh, you've had a run of bad luck, haven't you? It's a very subtle...
We used to say hard cheese.
Yeah, hard cheese is another one.
Hard cheese.
So I think some of you, maybe not from the south of England, took it literally. That was just saying, oh, they're very unlucky. I wasn't. I was saying bad luck, Meghan and Harry. Just to clear that one up. It's funny how, although a lot of us nations speak English, we speak English in very different ways, don't we? Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, the UK. I'm sorry if I've missed any. I'm sure I have. Or Gibraltar, for one. It's funny how we all speak English and yet we don't speak English. I also found it very interesting that Jeremy Clarkson was found to have, now I've got to get this right, to have been sexist in his Game of Thrones reference, but not racist. So that's being applauded left, right and centre by Meghan's fan club as a victory. I don't see it as a victory. I see that as, you know, not even they were going to buy that one, were they? So, and also Graham and I have the great honour this evening of being guests on Trevor's Live. And we are honoured, truly, truly honoured. I've no idea where the conversation is going to go on that one. I dread to think, actually, because you should hear the conversations that Graham and Trevor have offline. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure we'll all handle it with decorum and respect, and there'll be nothing for trolls to complain about, I'm certain. So that's going to be at 7 o'clock UK time, which is 8 o'clock in the evening, this evening, our time. So 7 this evening UK time. And I'm sorry, I'm not very good on time zones, but if you Google what time is it in the UK this evening at 7 o'clock, it should tell you your time zone. I might get a load of clocks actually with all the different times. That would help me. That would be fancy, wouldn't it? They used to have that in Harrods and I was always quite impressed. Yeah, I think I might do that. And oh, I've ordered a little tiny submarine. I think it's only this big. It's a toy one. It dives to 1 metre and it has a range of 6 metres from the remote control. Now the reason I've ordered this, it was only €20, is because, as I said yesterday, I want to, I've got a very ambitious project. I want to build a really, really good ROV that I don't know anything about, remote control. So I've bought this little toy to test it out, see how easy the controls are. It's got no camera on it, nothing like that. But it's quite cool the way it's got its propulsion system, and that's what I'm interested in at the moment. How the remote control works. So once I've played with it for a bit, I'm going to take it out of the water and I'm going to dissect it. And I'm going to look at each and every single one of the components. And then that's going to be my blueprint, my starting point. I've already got a shape in mind for my ROV, which is going to be completely different to these big square cage ones that you see. It's going to be a lot different and a lot easier to make. And I'm really looking forward to that. Anyway, I've kept you far too long. Thank you very much for listening to my opinions and thoughts and free speech. Long may it last. Long may it last. And as always, see you below. And hope to see you on Trevor's channel tonight, 7 PM UK time. Thank you very much for listening.